Hey, what is good, agents? It's been a little while. I actually want to do like a theory craft video, which I've always thought about doing, but I'm so like I need to get the deck perfect before I share it with you guys that I never did. But this time I said, screw it. Let's go ahead and talk about my boy Examon. This is a build using most of the cards from the 2.5 set. I was trying to wait until I had the cards physically, but since everything was delayed, I said, screw it. Let's go ahead and make this deck profile. Examon is like my favorite Digimon, if y'all didn't know that. And so I'm always trying to make this deck work and make this deck relevant. So that being said, let's jump straight into the deck profile and discuss. All right, here we are. So let's go ahead and start off with the babies. So this is going to be Babydomon. BT20, so it's the newest one. When attacking, if the Digimon has Dracomon or Examon in its text, you're going to draw a card. So basically, anytime you swing, you're going to get to draw a card, which is cool. Filtering and drawing and getting cards to your hand, I feel like for this deck previously was always important because you really need to make sure you hit your pieces. The earlier, the better. So I think this is going to be paramount to really accelerating that, but we'll see as we go through it. Next, our first set of babies or rookies, we're going to be running 2 Dracomon from BT11. These guys are cool because if they're on the board and you play a Dramon, you'll get to draw a card. So that goes into what I was mentioning before. But also, its inherit will give you a memory if you play out a Dramon. You're not playing any blue flares in this deck, so that's not even a real discussion. But this will let you do some cheeky things in terms of maintaining your turn or putting your opponent in a weird place when you're using the old Examon, as well as things like Kaiser Nail, which I'm running in this deck as well. So there's a lot of really fun plays that you could presumably do with this guy. Next, Dracomon from EX3. This is your Searcher Draco. Look at top 4, grab you an Examon and a Dramon. Standard stuff. Inherit when one of your Dramon or Examon is suspended, or sorry, becomes suspended, you'll gain 1,000 TP for the turn. DP gain is always nice. Next, we have the new Dracomon. Now, I don't know how I feel about this guy, to be honest with you. I don't really like the start of main by trashing one card from your hand with Draco or Examon in its text, so basically anything in the deck. You get to draw 1, gain a memory. The trashing is where I kind of go, I'm confused, because there isn't anything that I could find for the deck where trashing is going to advance your game state later, right? Where like you're going to pull something from your trash and use it in some way, like you would for Dragon Links, for example. So I don't know how I feel about this, but truthfully, I think it's also here. The reason why I've included, I should say, is because you have Unleashing the Dragon Gene, which is the new 2-drop red option card that is useful for the deck. So that's a big part of why I said, screw it, we're just going to run it and see how it actually performs for the deck. And it's going to give you 2k DP on your turn, which is kind of relevant for a couple of your level 4s in particular, but we'll get to that in a second. Speaking of level 4s, we're running 2 of the old Coredramon because it gives evade. That's literally the reason. It was really hard for me to convince myself that evade wasn't worth like having as an option in the deck, even though there's like pseudo evade in the sorry guys, crazy sneeze. Even though the deck kind of has its own version of protection by suspending and doing something similar to evade, but I don't know, I just thought that this seemed like a good idea to keep. Next, we're going to be running 2 of the new Coredramon, who's going to have jamming. He's blue and red, which is nice. And then when any of your green Digimon, Dracomon, or Examon in their text are played, you can go ahead and Digivolve into Wingdramon by reducing the cost by 2, so it only costs 1. So that's kind of cool. So you could basically hard cast one of your level 5s, you want to hard cast the Groundramon so that you can go ahead and go into the Wingdramon. I don't know how beneficial it's going to be to hard cast in that way. Just depends on the board state and the memory and all that fun stuff, but it's an option. So it's kind of like the Dracomon promo card that came out a while ago that lets you warp Digivolve. Next, we're running 2 of the Coredramon level 4s. He's the old green one. He gives blocker. Blocker is always nice. So it's, I put it in the deck. All right. Let's take a look at our other Coredramon. So this is a new Coredramon. Its inherit's going to give you 2k DP, just like this Coredramon here. So the new Coredramon is going to give you more power. This guy's got Raid, which is always nice. The issue, though, is he's only 5k, so you really want to make sure that he's got this Dracomon underneath, so you can get that extra 2k, bump him to 7. And even going ahead or having this guy at 6k isn't terrible, but at least at 7k you can take out your other opposing level 4s. And potentially maybe a level 6 too. He's got the same effect as the Coredramon, or the blue-red Coredramon. If you go ahead and play something with Draco or Exa in its name, you can go ahead and Digivolve this guy into a Groundramon. Sorry, not in his name, in its text. Which is going to be such a odd thing for me mentally to kind of like wrap my head around every time I read that, because I'm so used to seeing something say in its name, not in its text. Yeah. Next, let's go ahead and look at the level 5. So we're running one Wingdramon from EX3. So he's got Evade. The biggest thing about him, though, is the fact that he counts as a Examon target for when you DNA Digivolve, right? He's going to count as one of your level 6 Digimon. But also, at the end of turn, he can cause the Jogress. So that's why I put him in here, because the new ones don't DNA at the end of turn. And that's presumably because they want you to use the Ace mechanic instead. So we're trying to find a happy balance between the two. Speaking of Wingdramon, let's go ahead and look at the new one. I love these new ones' skills. I think they're really cool, but I do think there's still merits in the old level 5s. So Wingdramon, this one is blue-red. He's gonna Digivolve for 3 on top of your Coredramon, 4 normally. Don't know why you'd pay that, I guess, unless you want to choke your opponent to 1. I guess there could be reasons why you do that. On play and on Digivolving, you get to pop a Digimon that's 6k or less. So that's cool. The deck's getting some forms of removal. In the past, you didn't really get removal without using option cards or swinging over things or whatever. You weren't really getting rid of bodies just by advancing your game state. So that's pretty cool. And then all turns, this guy's treated as Slayerdramon for your Examon Jogressing. So you could have this Wingdramon out and then go ahead and have the Groundramon next to it out and use them to Jogress end of turn. So it'll be kind of cool with the different options that combinations you'll have. It's just really setting up the board and figuring out like which you like better, because it may make sense not to play the old Groundramon and Wingdramon. Who knows? We'll kind of have to see as we go through. And then, of course, you have your security +1 inherit, which again is nice. It allows the deck to have a little bit more aggression. Previously, the deck was a lot more control. Next, we're just going to skip over the old Groundramon. We know what they do. They give blocker, end of turn, Jogress. Next, we're going to go ahead and look at the new Groundramon. So he is green and red. On play, he lets you suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. Then, one of their Digimon or Tamers can't unsuspend until the end of the turn. So you can suspend a Digimon or Tamer and keep it locked down for a turn. Typical green stuff. We like that. And then all turns, this guy is treated as a Breakdramon for DNA evolution. Next, if we look at the Groundramon, if you look at his inheritable, this Digimon deletes the most Digimon in battle, you trash top of their security. So basically, it's a very similar effect to the old Breakdramon, which I'm still trying to decide if I'm going to be able to make room for it in this deck. The old Breakdramon, when one of your Dramons or Exa kills something, you would trash stop a security. So this one's a little more narrow, but it's a very similar idea. Something to also be aware of, which I'm just kind of looking at here too, is that the Wingdramon and the Groundramons do not count as Slayerdramon or Breakdramon while they're in your hand. Meaning, if you have the Groundramon out and you want to blast Evo, you actually have to have Slayerdramon in your hand. You can't use the Wingdramon because Wingdramon is not considered Slayerdramon, sorry, while it's in your hand. So it's just something to keep in mind. And even me saying that out loud has got me like, I wonder how I can further optimize this deck. All right, next, we're going to be running 2 of the original Slayerdramon. This guy, I think, is still outstanding. The fact that he's going to be able to force your opponent to swing at the start of their main phase is always nice, because then maybe you can get rid, if they promote out that level 3, you can get rid of that. If they have a body on board that they're going to need to evo, you can force them to get rid of that. So it's a nice little control option. Also, the fact that this guy is going to be a pretty powerful body now because of the 2k you're going to get from the Coredramon. So now he's a 14k. So he can swing over most things. I mean, really, you could get him up to 16k. So he can swing over most things, and he can swing twice, and you can give him sec +1. So he could actually be like a good sub boss for the deck, to be honest. Now let's take a look at the new Slayerdramon. So he is blue and red. He's got piercing, which is dope. And then on play, when Digivolving, you trash any 3 Digivolution cards under somebody's Digimon, then delete one of their Digimon with no Digivolution cards. So typical blue stuff. Being able to trash off this guy in this deck more consistently is going to be great. And then also being able to pop stuff is cool. This could be a fun way to get rid of aces and just kind of make your life a little easier. And then all turns, when your opponent's security stack is removed, one of your Digimon, Draco, or Examon and Sex may unsuspend. So he's got a very similar effect to Slayerdramon. Unlike the original Slayerdramon, he's gonna require something from the security stack to remove for him to unsuspend. Oh, wait a second. Hold on, guys. This is all turns. When your opponent's security stack is removed, one of your Digimon with Draco or Examon and Sex. So you could use this skill to unsuspend not himself, but some other body on the board, which could be pretty relevant. Interesting. So similar premise in their effects, just the versatility is a little different. So all turns, his inherit, when one of your Digimon with Draco or Examon in their text would leave the battle area, other than in battle, by suspending this Digimon, they don't leave. So this is what I was saying, where like it's kind of like evade, right? But it's a little more all-encompassing, because evade is only protects you from deletion, but this would protect you from like deck bouncing. It won't protect you from, oh, I'm sorry guys, so you can't see it. Okay, there we go. It won't protect you from Digivolution, but it will protect you from pretty much everything else other than battle. So, you know, it's interesting. I mean, you could give yourself evade and this Slayerdramon skill, so you're protected from everything that isn't Digivolution, since evade will cover you from battle. So it's definitely not bad. It's just gonna depend on what your matchup is. All right. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about the new Breakdramon. He has blocker inherently, and then on play and when Digivolving, you can suspend 2 of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers, then one of your Digimon may attack. That's cool. Keep in mind that is not rush, meaning that if it's something that was just played, it can't attack. So please keep that in mind. All turns, when any of your Digimon with Draco or Examon in their text delete an opponent's Digimon, delete one of their suspended Digimon or Tamers. So that's dope. You can actually get Tamer removal in this deck. And Tamer removal is like phenomenal. I think it always has been. So having easy access to it is pretty cool. And then this guy's inherit is the same as his all turns. So you can basically end up popping suspended Tamers in particular, but Tamers every turn or so. So that's freaking really good. Next, and one of the cool things about this too, because it's got blocker, if they swing at you, you block, you can go ahead and get this all turn skill going as well and delete out Tamers or any other suspended Digimon. Of course, it has to be suspended so that your opponent can play around that a little bit, but messing up people's board states is kind of what you're going to want to do. Next, we're going to be playing what seems like the new staple SCR, or Secret Rare from what I understand, Medieval Gallantmon. Luckily, we have 2 of these, so we'll actually be able to build the deck out the way we have listed here. Joke card, annoying as hell. So specifically with his all turns effect, when a Digimon is played, you can activate his when Digivolving effect, which basically is going to let you suspend one Digimon, then delete one Digimon with 8k or lower DP, but then for each other suspended Digimon, you're going to raise that by 3k. So almost every time you're at minimum probably popping something that's 11k or less. It's annoying. It is extremely annoying, so we're running it. You could also Evo into it in this deck, and you can also use it for your DNA Digivolutions as well, because it could count as your green level 6 if you're in a really, really weird place. I would hope you wouldn't have to do that, but who knows, you might be in a position to where you don't have a choice. Next, we're going to look at the new Examon Ace, who has all the keywords in the world. So he's got Blast, DNA, Breakdramon, and Slayerdramon, of course. He's got Raid, Piercing, Blocker, Evade. Basically every keyword that existed within the archetype he's got access to. It's nuts. So if DNA Digivolving, you can return all of your opponent's Digimon with the highest DP to the bottom of the deck. And then all turns, when any Digimon suspend, this Digimon may unsuspend. Cool effects. I mean, he does a little bit of everything. He's got removal, he's got the evade, but not only does he have evade, he's gonna have the Slayerdramon's version of protection as well. He's got a little bit of everything. And then, yeah, when any Digimon suspends, this guy can unsuspend. So you can swing with him, restand him, block with him, restand him, get 2 blocks. All in all, he seems like a really cool card. Next, we're going to be running 2 of the OG Examon. I think you still should run that in this deck because he's still pretty versatile. He's going to let you add a source to him for free, and he's going to let you play one of your green or blue Dramons with 12k DP or less for free. So you could play pretty much anyone, which is awesome. You typically, what you do is you do the Examon and you'd play the old Breakdramon, or you'd play this Slayerdramon here, but now you have plenty of options to be able to set up for a second Examon. In this case, truthfully, you could do the Examon, then play out the Slayer, Groundra, Wingdra, or Break, and then just prepare to second Exa with the Blast Evo on your opponent's turn. Since this Examon's going to have a bajillion keywords, you don't have to worry about setting him up like this one with Blocker, Evade, and all those other abilities. You could just be like, cool, he's got everything. He's a little weaker because he doesn't have a million inherits, but he's still that man. So they have to respect the Examon duo there. So that is an option. Next, Ice Wall. I don't think that card really needs any explanation as to why it's here. It's Ice Wall. Kaiser Nail. So this one, in the previous version of the deck that I had in past formats, this card was goated. It made it really easy to play out another Examon and get set up. In this current version of the deck, I don't know how well it's going to play. We're going to kind of have to play it by ear and see. You could bump this up to 2 and reduce down like a Tamer or something. I think there's always value in being able to play out these bodies. And then if you've got your Dracomon, of course, it's going to be reduced by 1. So this will cost you 3 instead of 4. So that it can be pretty relevant sometimes. And now with all these new options of things to play out, there could be moments where playing out this Wingdramon makes sense, because 1, he's going to pop a body, and then also it's going to make it easier to blast Evo. So yeah, you got options. Next, the new Unleashing the Dragon Gene. So this is a 2-cost red option. Unfortunately, it doesn't have any special text in that, like, you're going to actually need a red card in order to do this. So that could be a little annoying. We'll see. I don't know why they wouldn't list it to where if you have a Dramon or a Draco, it's free or some kind of condition. That would be nice, but maybe that makes too much sense. So what this guy does, you can play 1 Digimon card with Draco or Examon in its text from your hand with a play cost reduced by 3. Then place this card in the battle area. So you could do this to play a Dracomon for 2. Technically, it's free, but you're paying 2 to play it out. And then its all turns effect. When your Digimon, Draco, or Exa in their text would be removed from the battle area, or other than by battle, 2 of your Digimon may DNA Digivolve into Examon in the hand. So this is very similar to like the Omnimon card that does the same thing, and a lot of the other DNA evolution cards that they had released a little bit ago, a few sets ago, to do that. The security effect lets you play a Draco from your hand to trash, and then you just place this out in the battle area. Next, Tamers. Tamers is a little flexible, I think. We're running Davis because he's a good searcher. He's going to set you to 3 memory, and he can pull any green or blue Digimon from the deck. So that's basically, that should be everybody in the deck. Yeah, you can grab pretty much everybody in the deck, which is cool. And then this Davis, And I don't know, they may come out. The start of main phase is irrelevant for you. It's really the your turn effect that you're going to be using. So when one of your Digimon DNA digivolves into a blue or green Digimon by suspending this Tamer, gain a memory. If you DNA digivolved, trash any 3 Digivolution cards from your opponent. Digivolution trashing is always good, I think. Which is why you could swap this for a... oh my god, I'm blanking on Sora and Joe, which is what I ran in the older version of this deck. And looking at it now as I'm recording this, I think I might still like just running Sora and Joe in order to strip out 2 sources from your opponent, the bottom 2. So I don't know. I think the Tamers can be pretty flexible, and I think there's cases to be made for quite a few. But anyway, guys, this is the tentative deck profile for my Examon build for 2.5. I'm sure this will change a lot over the coming months, and I will document it across the channel. And yeah, really curious to see what you guys think of this build, what you would do differently if you're looking forward to trying this. If you do, I would really be curious to get your feedback. But anyway, guys, yeah, thanks for hanging out, and I will see you in the next video. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and don't forget to hit that like button. Peace.